Hi everybody, welcome back to Control Alt Delete. I hope everybody had a great week and we are back to Sunday, and I hope everybody had a great weekend. This week was a busy week, first full week of school, so that was exciting. Traffic was crazy because all school districts are back in school, so I'm back to fighting traffic. That's not fun because I don't do well in traffic. But overall, the week was a pretty good week. I got to babysit my nieces this weekend. That was fun and interesting watching them. They look just like my brother, so that was fun with them. But yeah, so overall, the week was a pretty good week. So I'm gonna dive right in to another Maya Angelou quote. And this one is, I really like this one. It says, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty." Maya Angelou. I think this is beautiful because I feel like we see so many people that you admire, or so many people you just come in contact with on a daily basis, and you're like, oh, this person's beautiful, or oh, you know, just you admire somebody, and it could just be in passing, and you never get the time to really sit and talk to them and find out their true story, because everybody has a story. And it's just very, very deep, because there's no beauty, you know, is just like in the eyes of the beholder. When you see a butterfly, you know, it was once in a cocoon, and it's like a process to get to that point. And I think this was really, really good, because I feel like everybody could be a butterfly, you know, because everybody has a story, and everybody's been through something that they've overcome. And I think that this is just really, really beautiful. So I thought that was worth a share. Also, too, something I thought that was worth sharing. I watch a lot of different pastors, and like their whole sentiment, a few of them over the last couple of weeks they've been saying, we start off looking like our parents and end up looking like our decisions. And I was like, dang, just let that sink in. Like, really, like when you're born a child, right? When you're born a baby, like everybody's like, oh, who they look like? Oh, they got their mama's mouth. They got their daddy's nose. Oh, that's not my nose. Oh, that's not this. This not. Oh, they're gonna be black like this. They're gonna be But then you start growing up, and you're an adult, right? And you've been through life. You've been through stuff. And now you don't look like your parents anymore. You look like what you've been through. Or you can be like, thank God I don't look like what I've been through. But in this sense, like they're saying, you look like your decisions. Like, it's really up to you. It's you. You. It's like a lot of self-examination. Like you gotta point the finger at you. You determine your whole outcome, right? It's the man in the mirror. It's really always the man in the mirror. Um, Nobody can make you do something you don't want to do. You know, you ultimately can make your own choices as an adult, right? Um, so what you choose to do will ultimately determine the outcome. So I thought this was good because I'm like, I know they were doing like a challenge of like people posting what 40 and 50 looks like on TikTok. And, you know, I saw some people that were 50 that looked 80. And I'm close to 50. And I don't look like I'm 50. I don't need nobody to tell me that. I'm not, it's not conceited, it's not anything. But I don't look like I'm almost 50. And I've been through a lot of stuff. Okay? So I'm just saying to say that, you know, we all go through things. But yeah, I thought this was really good. You end up looking like your decisions, which is really, really deep. Like, you know, it made me start looking at people like, dang, what happened? Mm-hmm. Did. It really did. So, um, but I think y'all should take that and think about that. This week on my grief roller coaster, remember I said the grief roller coaster consisted of confusion, anxiety, acceptance, peace, sadness, longing, denial, anger, and loneliness. I think I'm still sadness, and loneliness. Sadness and loneliness. Like I have pictures of my mom on my nightstand, and I have a picture of my mom, my grandfather, and my great grandmother on my nightstand. And then I have a picture of my mom at work, two pictures. And I the loneliness really, it's the wanting to call. I guess that'll probably, it's probably never gonna go away. Because she be asking me like today, what you cooking? You know, because if you know me, I typically cook multiple things on Sunday for the week. So she would be asking, what you cooking? So missing that, those phone calls. Even it's getting close to my birthday. People ask, what am I doing for my birthday? I don't know. You know, because I wait to hear her call me, you know. So it's stuff like that. That you think about, and where the loneliness comes in and the longing, you know. I think that another part that's really deep for me is because I'm in Louisiana because of my mother, right? Um, and it's like with like this has never been like home, you know? And with her, like it was a reason to be, that was the reason, you know? But Louisiana is just not home for me. I've curated, you know, a space for my children, my grandkids, but it's just not home for me. I just attached Louisiana with her. That was the only reason why I ended up in Louisiana. So I think that plays in my mind a lot too. Like there's definitely no connection whatsoever. To like Louisiana. So what that means, I don't know, but I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, so as far as grief, that's kind of where I'm at. I also want to share, like at the beginning of the year, I wrote in my journal, like a list of things that I wanted for myself for 2025. And the first thing on the list was I wanted to be closer to God. Like I can get my journal and I could show you. It's the number one thing that I said I wanted for this year. And I feel like, you know, they say don't ask God for what you don't want because He will give you what you ask for, right? I've had times in my life where I have had to cry out, call out to God, but I feel like with my mom being gone, the search is it's deeper. It's deeper. It just feels like there's a lot of things don't make sense to me, or they do make sense, I guess. I feel that I have to pray throughout the day to get through the day, right? And I'm trying to get to a space where um, I really feel okay. So for the most part, like it's a mind over matter thing because I've always been a mind over matter person. Like that's just how I've trained myself or how I was taught. Um, um, but with this, there's certain things that I've, you know, you want to talk, I want to talk to her about, and I just can't. And that's what kind of gets me. Because she would understand. You know how you understand your children? You know, they say you know your children. Like she would understand what I was saying. Like she knows me. Like I don't start nothing, but if I'm telling you something, it's because I feel this way, right? Or you made me feel this way. So, you know, you need, it's just, you miss that. You miss that. So I miss that. Really, she's the first person I call from going after therapy. So I could tell her. And she would laugh. She would laugh. But she would laugh because she would know. Because she knew. You know. She knew. She knew. Like, sometimes I think that like a few weeks ago, I just was screaming. And my daughter was like, she looked at me like, "Are you okay?" And then the next day she came and I scared her. And she didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or what. And she was like, you crashed out. You know, that's the young kids term. And my son says that too. And so I laughed because she said I crashed out. But I don't have time to crash. I wish I could crash out. You know what stops me from crashing out? Because I have kids and I have grandkids. And so God knew. You know? God knows. That's what keeps me from crashing out because I have kids and I have grandkids. So God knows, right? So I know that was a lot. But I'm saying that to say it's a journey in grief. Like I'm pushing through. When I say I'm pushing through, I am pushing through every single day. Like I'm in the Word every single morning. I'm watching the Word every single day. I'm praying throughout the day. I'm trying to stay consistent with this to express my feelings, maybe help somebody else. I don't know. But it's a lot. It is truly a lot when you're just a woman, trying to be yourself, you know, and worry about yourself, worry about your children, their health and how they're taking things, you know, how they're dealing with things, and you're worrying about everybody else around you, how they're handling things. And so it's a lot. It's a process. But all I can continue to say is pray and just stay positive. That's all I can do is stay positive. I know that before I talked about, I can't remember. You know, there's a time for everything. So I know that there's a time for everything. It's just getting through. It's just getting through. So I'm getting there though. I am getting there day by day. So I guess that's positive thinking, critical thinking. My mom's very strong-willed. So it's very stubborn. So I know that I know she would want me to keep going. Like I know for sure she would want me to keep going. I know she's rooting for me. I know that for sure. So that's all I really have. So next week we will talk about, of course I'll have another quote. I told you before, I do want to talk about, take a break. I mean, I will still continue to talk about my mom, but I do want to share my story about being a teenage mom. So maybe I'll start that next week or the following week after that. So I'm gonna decide on that. I need to do some more praying about that. But I will keep you posted. And I thank you for tuning in. And I hope everyone has a great week. Love you. Stay blessed.